Listening to Valley Sounds on 89.3 Huntsville. I have my boy Alex Banks in the studio with me. We're going to be chopping it up, getting some more information about what's been going on with him, talking about what's coming up, and a few new projects that he's working on. So, Alex, we're going to go ahead and get you to introduce yourself and give us the station ID. Go for it.
All right, then. This is Alex D. Banks II, and I'm here with your girl JQue in the Valley Sounds on 89.3 Huntsville.
Woo, you did that fly off the cuff on the first time around. Let's jump on in, Alex. You've got a new CD out called My Heart.
I do.
And it's been featured on our playlist quite often because it is banging.
Hey, I'm honored. I'm really honored.
It is banging. What's new? What you got coming up? What's next for you?
So, as it relates to performances, what's next coming up is on September 30th, I'll be at the Food and Wine Crush Festival at the brunch from 11 to 2 o'clock p.m.
Yeah, that's the brunch that's going to be happening in the park, right?
Yes,
Big Spring Crush.
They're partnering with Jazz in the Park this year, and I'm excited because it's going to be really good. Really good. I'm excited. I have my full band, and I don't get a chance to play with my full band all the time. So we're coming back, and it's going to be like a really big reunion. We haven't played all together since I think earlier this like February or March. So yeah, we're coming back, and we are coming with some good stuff.
Okay,
really good stuff.
Okay. Tell me about how you got started. I know you've been playing sax for has it been 7 years now?
Ooh, man, I've actually been playing for 10 years.
Okay.
I started my first 2 years in middle school, at the Liberty Middle School, where my band director was Miss Peterson. I studied independently on the side with Miss Nancy Hallman, and they were both actually sisters. And they taught me classical music and drilled it into me, classical music. And then I took my talents and I went to Dr. Reginald Jackson, amazing guy in himself. And he taught me the art of improvisation. He taught me everything he knew and some. And so from there, I started doing my Christmas shows. I did my first 2 Christmas shows at my old church, the Beacon Hill Worship Center, where they gave me a platform to do a Christmas concert with all the youth and everything like that. And it was called The Gifts to the King. And from there, we branched out to the old Holiday Inn downtown that's no longer with us. And we went from there to the VBC to UAH, and we went to Lee High School. And this year, on December 15th, we will be back at UAH. We'll be back at UAH.
You guys, Alex Banks concerts are totally in full effect. And when I say in full effect, it is not just about the music. It is about the performance, the environment, and the experience is what we call for real off the chain. So if you have an opportunity, definitely you want to experience him live whenever you get the chance. Alex, what other than the saxophone do you do musically?
I actually do a little bit of producing as well. So before I really started taking sax serious, I kind of dabbled into the keys and the drums a little bit. And so I never took it seriously. I was like, I'm just gonna bang on these drums a little bit, get on a couple of people's nerves. And it actually developed into something I actually am a pretty okay drummer. I feel like it myself. I always want to give another opinion for somebody else, but but I'm a pretty okay drummer, and it's actually helped me communicate to all the musicians that I work with that I don't have to be like, hey, give me a little bit of some of this. I can be like, hey, can I get the kick? Let me get a double kick. Can I get the hi-hat here? And I think they appreciate it more because they don't have to try to decipher through what I got to say. They can kind of understand what I'm trying to get at.
Do you write your own music?
I do. I actually start off with taglines though, because as a saxophone player, you don't really get to write lyrics, because you're playing. But I do have lyrics to every song that I write that nobody knows about. But I really focus on the taglines because I feel like people remember taglines more than anything, or they remember choruses, as people call them. We call them taglines in the jazz industry, but they remember choruses more so than the verses. So I really kind of key into the chorus.
And you are definitely a definition of a jazz artist, but how did you get to jazz?
That's a really good question. I was always diverse in my music choices, from rock to pop to R&B to hip hop, and I really didn't know too much about jazz, to be honest. I was a saxophonist that didn't know too much about jazz, and and that is really oxymoronic. But so then Dr. Jackson really kind of cultivated that and was like, hey, if you want to get better, you have to listen to people who've done it before you. And so from then, he gave me like two artists to like listen to. From then, I kind of branched off and like I was like, oh man, so I would listen to like radio interviews of like Marcus Anderson, Kirk Whalum. You always thought of it. Everybody knows about Kenny G, but then there's so many more. You have like Elon Chapman and Mike Phillips and so I started like, okay, so who are their inspirations? And then from there, I went to the John Coltrane's and all the great people, Charlie Parker's of jazz, traditional jazz time.
Wow. If you had to choose another genre of music outside of jazz that would be your favorite, which would it be and why?
I am a lover of love, and so R&B would be it. R&B would be my second favorite genre. I love love in any type of form because I love loving people. I like to try to do my best to do right by people, and I feel like the world needs a lot of that. So I think that would be my second favorite genre because I feel like R&B is kind of based off of love and the feeling of love.
As a local artist, the thing that you feel like you struggle with the most in your community is what? What do you struggle with the most?
I feel like more so people don't really know about like what's going on in Huntsville. I think that's a major, and I don't know if it's because it's not advertised right or if it's not, or it's not publicized right. But I think as an artist, a local artist, it's kind of struggling getting the word out, and I think that's one major thing that we struggle with.
Well, from what I've noticed, I don't think you struggle much with getting the word out, and I see you all over the place. So what would be some advice that you would give to local artists to, combat the struggle of awareness and getting their music out and being seen and being heard?
That's a good question. I believe that you have to have a good team. If you don't have a good team, then you won't reach the audience. You won't reach everybody, or you won't reach a lot of people because there's a lot of people who know people, but you have to have a diverse team that knows different people to get the word out. And that's kind of how it worked. Most of my family, I've lived in Madison, Huntsville all my life, and my family's from Madison and Huntsville, and they have different circles within themselves. So I make sure I utilize my family from people I just meet, locally. And everywhere I go, no matter if it's a local gig, no matter if it's out of town, or no matter if it's things that you would think like a wedding, I always advertise myself. I always make sure like, hey guys, I have a show coming up December 15th this year, or last year was December 16th. I would make sure I would always spread the word because you never know. I always have business cards. I always have, just the promotional items to hand out. And even if they don't ask for it, I just go around and give them business cards to every gig.
What do you hope that your music will do, and what type of legacy are you trying to leave for Alex Banks II?
For Alex Banks II, I really want to just leave a legacy that I've served my community and the greater thereof. And I want to leave a legacy of just loving my music to inspire people to do what they've always wanted to do. I believe in people, firmly going after their passion, even if it's unconventional, and just, doing it. And why not, go after your dream? And so that's what I want my music to be a testimony of me going after my passion and pursuing my dream.
What's your favorite song off of your album right now?
You know what? My favorite song off of the album is Time of My Life.
Ooh,
yeah,
that's a good one.
Yeah.
That is a good one.
And I think the reason why is because it explains me so well. It explains me so well. I am not the traditional jazz player. I love traditional jazz. I love listening to it. I love to imitate it and everything like that. But there's also a side of me that just likes when the beat drops. So I feel like it kind of gives you the best of both worlds of jazz, traditional jazz, and today's music. And I love the vibe of it. I do.
I know that you're working on your next CD already. You started in the studio. And so what can we expect? Is it going to be different? What's the flavor from your next project? Or are you going to give me a little hint?
Oh, yeah, no. So I'm actually going to release 2 singles by December of this year. And it's going to be totally different I have actually a different producer working on it this time. Her name is Kenita Rogers. She's a beast within herself. but we're actually, and like, My Heart was great, and I love it, and I love my producer who produced it, Mario Maitland. But this time it's going to be like more in depth. It's going to be different. It's going to be a different side of me. I love to switch things up. I don't like the traditional thing. I don't want people to kind of predict who I am or put me in a box. So I think this time it's going to be a lot smoother, but it's still going to have that bass, that feel, that rhythm to it, and it's going to be. I think it's going to be really good.
That's going to be awesome. Is there anything that you want to leave the guest or the listeners about you, or about anything that you want to say to everybody who's tuning in to Alex Banks II?
I want to say I love everybody. I love everybody, and if I can do anything for anybody, just let me know. That's what I want to leave.
Well, Alex, thank you so much for coming and sharing. It's been a pleasure having you in the studio. And
thank you for having me. I've thoroughly enjoyed it.
I love your album. We play it here on the Valley Sounds quite often.
I appreciate that.
Tell them where they can get a copy of your album if they're interested.
You can get a copy of the album on any digital platform. That includes iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, Spotify. Or you can come see me. You can come see me. I have physical copies as well, and I think Amazon sells physical copies as well. So you can get on any digital platform. It's Alex D. Banks, II for the second, entitled My Heart.
My Heart, ladies and gentlemen. Well, you're listening to Valley Sounds on 89.3 Huntsville, and this is your girl, JQue. Thanks for listening. Boom! That's it, Alex.
Oh, wow.
See how quick that was?
That was.
Yeah, it's pretty quick. I appreciate you for coming in, man. I really love your music and your sound. I've been a fan of yours for 5 years now, so, and I'm looking forward to the gift as well. Whenever you get some new music or you need a place to drop your sounds, don't hesitate. I'm your girl.
I'm shooting it to you.
You gonna shoot it to me
as soon as it gets mastered.
As soon as it gets mastered.
I get it back. That's the first place.
Hey guys, thanks so much for tuning in, and thanks for your support. Got Alex D. Banks in the studio with me today. We've had a good time, a great conversation. And Alex, you want to tell them where they can get in touch with you, or how they can cop you out if they're wanting to bring you to the platform?
You can reach me on Facebook at Alex D. Banks or Alex D. Banks II. Now and my Instagram is Alex D. Banks II, as well as my Twitter and all my social medias. You can email me at ab.saxophone@yahoo.com, or also you can call the number 256-333-0615.
All right, guys, we'll holler at you later. Thanks for listening, and thanks for tuning in. Have a great day.